Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Chaitanya Charitamrita overview class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela. We are in 5th chapter. Chapter is entitled The Glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram. So next week we'll be celebrating Nityananda Trayodashi. So it is a nice occasion to discuss the glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram. And so far we have discussed that Kaviraj Goswami, he starts the description from, he gives the explanation of the 7th verse of the 1st chapter of Adi Leela, where the glories of Lord Nityananda are described. Sankarshana Karana Toyashai, Payobdashai, Garbhodashai, Payobdishai, Yasyascha Sheshascha Yasham Sakala Santyanandakhyarama Sharanam Mamastu. So he glorifies the Supreme Lord Nityananda Balaram, and then he describes how this Nityananda Balaram is the same is the source of Mahasankarshan. He expands as Mahasankarshan. And then to glorify, to establish the position of Nityananda Balaram, first he describes what is this Paravyoma, what is the spiritual world where Mahasankarshan is staying. He describes the glories of spiritual world, and then he describes the glories of Sankarshan. Before that, he describes the glories of the Siddha Loka or the Brahman platform. All the demons, they get a chance, if they are killed by the Lord, they get a chance to enter into this Brahman. Then he describes the glories of Mahasankarshan. And then he describes the glories of Karanodakshai Vishnu. And we are discussing the glories of Karanodakshai Vishnu. So last time we completed till 71st verse. So in the 71st verse, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami quotes a verse from Brahma Samhita, where it is described that universes come out from the pores of Mahavishnu. Yasyaika nishwashita kala mathavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanatha Vishnu mahase yasya kala vishesho govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So that Supreme Lord Mahasankarshan or Mahavishnu, who is the Kala of Krishna, he, from his bodily pores, the universes are coming out. And Bhagavatam describes in detail, when it is described that the universes are coming out, what actually comes out from the pores of the Lord is the Prakriti or Dravya. And then Mahavishnu glances on this Prakriti, also called as Pradhan, and impregnates this Prakriti or Pradhan with Jiva, Kala, karma, and swabhava. And then subsequent transformations, they happen. So then Kaviraj Goswami quotes a verse from Brahmaji, where Brahmaji is telling that, who am I? I am a small creature measuring only 7 cubits, 7 spans of my own hand, and I am bound in this material universe. How can I understand your glory, O my Lord? Because entire universes are coming out from your bodily pores. Just like, everybody must have seen when there is a sun ray entering a window. So from the mesh of the window, you can see so many dust particles entering. That is how universes, they enter, they come out from the body of Mahavishnu. So then Brahmaji is saying, I am a conditioned soul. But who is Brahmaji? He is a supreme creator. He is a supreme secondary creator after the Supreme Lord, and he is saying, I am an insignificant person. So if Brahmaji cannot understand, who can claim that I can understand God? And who is this Mahavishnu? He is the Amshera Amsha. He is the part of Balaram. And the part of the part is called as Kala. Amshera Amsha Ei Kala Taranam Govindera Pratimurti Shri Balaram. So Shri Balaram, he is the counter form of Lord Govinda, and his part of the part is Mahavishnu. And this Balaram's own expansion is Mahasankarshan. And from that Mahasankarshan comes Mahavishnu. So Mahasankarshan is the second Chaturvyuha, Mahasankarshan. And from that Chaturvyuha, so this Mahavishnu comes from the Vasudev feature. From the Pradyumna feature, Garbhodakshay Vishnu comes. From Aniruddha, Shirodakshay Vishnu comes. So Kaviraj Goswami describes that this Mahavishnu, he is a Kala of Sankarshan. He is a part of the part. And Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Shirodakshay Vishnu, they are both Purushas. They are actually coming from Pradyumna and Aniruddha. So as I said, Vasudev, from the Vasudev feature, so we'll describe from the beginning. From Krishna, Balram comes. From Balram, first Chaturvyuha comes. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. So this first Sankarshan, he is also called as Mahasankarshan. And from him comes another Chaturvyuha, Vasudev, Sankarshan, secondary quadruple expansion. And from the Vasudev feature of the secondary quadruple expansion comes the Mahavishnu. From Pradyumna feature comes Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And from Aniruddha comes Shirodakshay Vishnu. But in this material world, how do this Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Shirodakshay Vishnu manifest? They manifest through Mahavishnu. So therefore, in the 76th verse, it is described that Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Shirodakshay Vishnu, they are plenary portions of Mahavishnu. Because they are coming in this world through Mahavishnu. Although they are avatars of Pradyumna and Aniruddha, but in this world they manifest through Mahavishnu. So therefore, Kaviraj Goswami quotes a verse from Laghu Bhagavatamrita, which says that anyone who understands these three Purushas, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and Shirodakshay Vishnu, he becomes free from the clutches of material energy. That is described by Shukadeva Goswami also. Whoever understands these Purusha avatars, he becomes free from the clutches of material existence. How is this possible? Because Purushavatar Katha means the creation pastime. It is so very difficult to understand. Very few understand the creation pastimes of the Lord. And it is very, very technical. Nobody likes to hear, all the technical details of the creation. And even if it is spoken, very few, they understand it. But Shukdev Goswami describes, Mayam Varnayato Moshya Ishwarasya Anumoditaha Shanvata Shraddhaya Nityam Mayaya Atmanamuhyati. So Shukdev Goswami says, if we understand this material potency of the Lord, Mayam Varnayato Amushya, if we hear this glorification, this description of the creation pastimes, what will happen? Shrindvata Shraddhaya Nityam. If we understand with faith, if we hear regularly, Nityam, Mayaya Atmanam Hyati, we will not get bewildered by material energy. How this will happen? Because we will understand that this Mahavishnu, these Purusha avatars, they are the soul. They are coming from whom? They are Amshera Amsha of Balram, and Balram is the source of, and from Balram is coming from Krishna. So in the 10th canto, when we hear the wonderful, beautiful pastimes of Krishna, we have this understanding. Who is this Krishna? Is not an ordinary personality. He is the source of Mahavishnus. We should never ever think that Krishna is, he's doing all these ordinary pastimes, ordinary, activities of playing like a child and, dancing because the gopis are telling, and he's, dancing with other men's wives. How is he doing all these things? No, don't ever judge Krishna in this way. It is an offense. So to avoid such offensive mentality, it is described we have to go through the creation pastimes, and then we will understand, okay, this Krishna who is performing all these pastimes, he is the source of Mahavishnu. People, they want to imitate the pastimes of Krishna, of dancing with the gopis and so many things. But can they imitate the pastimes of Mahavishnus? Impossible. Who can create this entire universe? When Mahavishnu sleeps, while he's sleeping, universes come out. When we sleep, only sound comes, and that disturbs other people. It is described in the 2nd canto. If somebody claims himself to be God, there is a sleep test he has to pass. So what is that sleep test? Mahavishnu, when he's Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, when he sleeps at the time of annihilation, entire place is burning with fire emanating from the mouth of Shesha. And where is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu sleeping? He is sleeping on snake bed. If somebody tells I am God, just tell him, okay, you just sleep in one room and we'll leave a small snake, not Ananta Shesha, a small snake. That's all. You just keep sleeping. Will he be able to sleep? And on top of that, you say, okay, you sleep in this room and we'll burn this house down. We'll put fire, and you keep sleeping. So Mahavishnu is sleeping peacefully without any, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is sleeping peacefully without any anxiety of being burnt or being bitten. That is God. And who is this Garbhodakshaya Vishnu? He is a plenary portion of Mahavishnu, who is a plenary portion of Sankarshan, who is a plenary portion of Balaram, and then Krishna. So that way we have to understand that this Krishna who is performing all these pastimes, he is not an ordinary person of this world. So therefore this Karanodakshaya Vishnu, he is a Kala of Krishna, part of the part. And this Karanodakshaya Vishnu, he is the source of all the avatars in this material world. Kurma, Varaha, Matsya, they are all coming through Mahavishnu. But Krishna is not an avatar. In the 1st canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in 3rd chapter, there is a list of 22 incarnations they are given. And in that list, 19th and 20th avatar is Krishna and Balram. So somebody may get a doubt. Acha, though Krishna and Balram is also described in this list of incarnations. He's also an avatar. So Suta Goswami clarifies, no, he's not an avatar, he's an avatari. From him only all the avatar comes. Ete cham shkala pumsa krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakulam lokam ridayanti yuge yuge. Ete, all these incarnations which are described, they are either amsha or kala. Ete cha amsha kala. They are either portions or portions of the plenary portions. They are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions. But Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the Supreme Personality who appears in this world to protect the devotees. So that Purusha, that Karano Dakshai Vishnu, he is engaged in creation, maintenance and destruction of all the material worlds. And he is that same Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is a shelter of everything. He's a seed of everything. And then Kaviraj Goswami quotes another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, where it is described that Mahavishnu, he is the primary incarnation of the Lord, and from him everything is coming. As we discussed, time factor, the nature, modes of material nature, they are coming from Krishna or Mahavishnu. Dravya kalacha karmascha swabhavo jiva evacha vasudevo paro anyo na chanyo arthos asti tattvataha. So everything is coming from Vasudev, Mahavishnu only. So from the pores of Mahavishnu, Dravya comes out, Prakriti comes out, and then Lord glances on that Prakriti and impregnates that Prakriti with Jiva and Kala. And Jiva, they carry their karma and Swabhava. And then subsequent transformations start, and all the elements of material nature, they are created. The false ego, the senses, the sense objects, the sense devatas, mind, intelligence, prana, everything comes from Mahavishnu. Jagrihe paurusham rupam bhagavan mahadadibhi sambhutam shodashakalam adau loka sitrikshaya. Jagrihe. So the Lord, he expanded himself into this Mahavishnu, Purushavatar. Jagrihe paurusham rupam bhagavan mahadadibhi. Adibhi, in the beginning of the creation, Lord expanded himself as Mahavishnu. And this Mahavishnu, he supplied all the ingredients for material creation. How many elements are there? Shodashakalam. He has 16 energies working for this material creation to produce 24 elements of creation. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport describes what are these 16 energies of the Lord which are working. Sambhutam Shodashakalam. Shodasha. What are the 16 energies of the Lord? Primary energies. Lord has unlimited energies. So Prabhupada, he quotes from Madhvacharya, then he quotes from Baldev Vidyabhushan, and then he quotes Jiva Goswami. And he describes that Madhvacharya, and he has made a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, and there he has described the 16 energies of the Lord. Last time also we discussed the 3 energies, Shri, Bhu, and Nila. There are another 13. Kanti, Kirti, Tushti, Gir, Pushti, so many are there. All the 16 are named. So Prabhupada writes all that. And then Kaviraj Goswami describes that although this Mahavishnu, he is the shelter of everything. He is the source of everything. He is the shelter of everything. And still, he does not come in touch with material energy. One should not think, oh, Lord is involved in all these creation pastimes. involving the modes of material nature, he might be affected, right? Because he has to perform so many activities. No, he never gets contaminated. Just like a sun never gets contaminated. Prabhupada gives example of prison. The person who directs the prison is not a prisoner. Although he may be involved in making of this prison and taking care of the maintenance of the prison house, but he is not involved in any of the activities of a criminal. Similarly, Supreme Lord, although he is involved in this creation pastimes, but personally Lord never comes in touch with material nature. The three modes of material nature, they never touch the Lord. Therefore, Lord is called as Vishuddham, Apapavidham. He's purest of all the pure things. He's never contaminated. Even if apparently he does things which may look morally wrong, still he never gets contaminated. Sometimes Lord performs such pastimes to prove his supremacy, that I can do it. I can dance with other men's wives. I can run away from the battlefield. I can steal, but still I'll be glorified. To prove his supremacy, Lord performs these pastimes. And therefore, Shukdev Goswami, when he was speaking, reciting this Rasalila pastimes in the 10th chapter, Parikshit Maharaj said, how is this possible? The Lord who came to establish the principles of Dharma, how can he behave in such a way? How can he dance with other men's wives? So Shukdev Goswami very nicely described, one should never imitate the actions of the great souls. One should follow their words, follow their instructions, never ever imitate the actions of the great souls. Otherwise, that person will be destroyed. So the verse says, the Vacha Satyam, the words of the great people, they are true. Follow them. Never ever try to imitate the actions of the great people. Even if apparently they are wrong, you should not imitate. Because he can do so and he can get on with it. He'll not be implicated. But if we try to imitate, we'll be implicated. So Lord performs all these pastimes to show that I am the Supreme Lord. Accept it. And then Kaviraj Goswami quotes the verse from the first canto. Etad ishanam ishasya prakristho pitad gunai na yujyate sadatmasthair yatha buddhi tadashraya. This verse comes in the 11th chapter of the first canto, where Krishna, he enters Dwarka after he takes leave from all the Pandavas. All the Pandavas are in intense separation. And then he enters Dwarka. All the residents of Dwarka are very happy. And then he enters the palaces of queens. All the queens who are Lakshmi's personified, they are trying to attract Krishna by their loving glances and the smiles of affection. But still Krishna is not attracted by their feminine gestures. He is attracted by their devotion. Uddama bhava pishunama laval guhasa Vridavalokanihato madano piyasam sammuhya chapamajahat pramadottamasta yasya indriyai vimatitum kuhakaina sheku. Krishna was not disturbed by all these beautiful gestures of all these queens. And then Sutta Goswami tells, this is the supreme glory of Krishna. This is the opulence of the Lord. Etad ishanam ishasya. This is the opulence of the Lord. What is opulence? Prakristhopi tadgunai. Although he is in this material world, Prakriti asthopi, he is in this material world, na yujyate sadatmasthair, he is never affected by the modes of material nature. That is the glory of the Lord. Yatha buddhi tadashraya, and similarly devotees also. The pure devotees of the Lord, those who have surrendered to Krishna, they may be situated in this material world, they may have this material body, but they are beyond the bodily conception. They are beyond the three modes of material nature. Yatha buddhi tadashraya. Just like Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself says, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina matsthani sarvabhutani nachaham teshu astita. Everything is coming from me. Everything is situated on me, but I am not in them. Nachaham teshu avasthita, but nachamatstani bhutani pashyame yogamaishwaram. Oh Arjuna, know that this is all my inconceivable potency. Everything is resting on me, but I am not affected by it. Just like the cloud rests in the sky, but sky and cloud, they are completely different. They may look same, but they are never the same. Similarly, this material nature may look qualitatively similar to the Lord, but Lord is never contaminated by this material nature. So we should never have this conception that Lord can also get contaminated. No, it is not possible. So therefore, this Supreme Lord who is described here, who is he? Who is this Mahavishnu who is the source of everything, but still he never comes in touch with the material nature? He is the plenary portion of Lord Nityananda Balaram. That is the ultimate conclusion. That's why Kaviraj Goswami describes so many things. To ultimately establish this fact that who is this Mahavishnu? He is the portion of the plenary portion of Lord Nityananda Balaram. And therefore he says, I have described this 9th verse. Now please hear with rapt attention as I describe the 10th verse. So again and again, Kaviraj Goswami is telling, please hear with rapt attention. Because the tattva of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very, very important to understand. Tattva of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very, very important, at the same time very difficult to understand. When we hear again and again, then we will, we can understand a little bit. Yebanahi buje keha shunite shunite seha ki adbhuta chaitanya charita Krishna upaji be priti jani be rasera riti shunile bada hoye hita. Even if you don't understand, keep on hearing. Keep on hearing these pastimes. Shunite shunite seha ki adbhuta chaitanya charita, because the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are amazing, they are wonderful. What will be the result? Krishna upaji be priti jani be rasera riti. Love for Krishna will arise in the heart. You will understand the mellows of devotion. It is for your benefit. So therefore, Kaviraj Goswami again and again reminds the readers, suno, dhyan se suno, please hear with rapt attention, wake up, so that we get benefited. Then, after describing this, he goes on to describe the 10th verse of the Adi Leela, which describes Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Who is this Garbhodakshaya Vishnu? Yasyam Sham Sashrila Garbhodashai Yanna Babjam Loka Sanghat Nalam Loka Strashtu Sutika Dhama Dhatu Tam Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. Who is this Garbhodakshaya Vishnu? Yasya Amsha, the portion of the plenary portion of Lord Nityananda Balaram. He is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So Mahavishnu was the portion of the Lord Nityananda, and this Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is the portion of Lord Nityananda. And from him what comes? Yan Nabhi, from the navel of the Lord. Nabhi Abjam. The lotus flower sprouts. And what is this lotus flower? This lotus flower is the resting place of all the planetary systems. So because Brahmaji, when he took birth on this lotus flower, and he was thinking what to do, who am I, why I have appeared here, and what I'm supposed to do. Then he heard tapa, tapa, and he understood, okay, I have to do tapasya. He engaged in tapasya, and then Lord revealed to him what he has to do. And then he was searching, okay, now I have to create this material universe, but where are the ingredients? Raw material kidhar se aayega? You know. Then, second canto describes that all he could find was the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu and a lotus. So he used the stem of the lotus and divided that into 14 planetary systems. So therefore, this Garbhodaksha Vishnu, he is the portion of the plenary portion of Lord Nityananda. Portion of the portion of plenary portion of Lord Nityananda. Mahavishnu is the portion of the plenary portion, and Garbhodaksha Vishnu is the portion of the plenary portion of Nityananda Balram. So therefore, I offer my obeisances unto that supreme personality of the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada, he quotes from Mahabharata, Shanti Parva, where it is described that he who is Pradyumna is also Aniruddha. He is also the father of Brahmaji. And Garbhodaksha Vishnu and Shirodaksha Vishnu, they are all plenary portions of Pradyumna. And then after creating this entire material universe, all the universes are created from Mahavishnu, and then Mahavishnu expands as Garbhodaksha Vishnu and enters into each and every universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And after entering this universe, he found that, it is all dark there. What to do now? So he began to think, what to do? I want to take rest. So he started perspiring. And the perspiration from the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu filled half of the universe. And this ocean, which was filling half of the universe, became Garbhodak Sagar. So this entire universe measures 500 million yojanas. So the lower half of this universe was filled with the water. So after filling half of the universe with his own perspiration, he made his residence in that water. And in the upper half, which was empty, he created the 14 planetary systems through Brahmaji, of course. And in this waters of Garbhodak Sagar, he manifested his own residence of Vaikuntha. And there he was resting on the bed of Ananta Shesha. And therefore, this Ananta, who is this Ananta Shesha? He's a divine serpent having 1,000 heads, 1,000 hoods, 1,000 faces, 1,000 eyes. Om Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasrasha Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishwato Vritva Atyatishtad Dashangulam. Prabhupada quotes that. This Mahavishnu, this Garbhodaksha Vishnu, who is residing on this Ananta Sesh with thousands of heads, thousands of eyes, thousands of hands, feet. He is a seed of all the incarnations. So from Mahavishnu through Garbhodaksha Vishnu, all the avatars are coming. And from this Garbhodaksha Vishnu grows the lotus flower, which is the birthplace of Brahma. And in the stem of that lotus flower, all the 14 worlds are there. And Brahmaji, he maintains this creation. He is in charge of the secondary creation. Then Bhagwan Vishnu, Lord Vishnu himself, engages in the maintenance of these pastimes, these planets. He himself, he never comes in touch with the material creation. Again, it is described. So again and again, Kaviraj Goswami establishing this fact that Lord never comes in touch with the material creation. Lord Vishnu is never affected by the material creation. He is Vishuddha Sattvam. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. He is a supremely pure entity. He is absolute truth, never affected by anything material. So as Brahma, he creates, as Vishnu, he maintains, and as Rudra, he annihilates. And this Garbhodakshai Vishnu, who is he? He is a super soul of the entire universe. So just like we have soul and super soul in our body, this entire universal body also has a soul and has a super soul. Just like we have our gross body, we have our subtle body, we have soul, we have super soul. Similarly, this entire material universe also has a gross body, which is called as Virata Rupa, the 14 planetary systems. Then it has a subtle body, which is composed of all the jivas put together, and that is called as Hiranyagarbha. The soul of this universe is Brahmaji, and the super soul of this universe is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So that is what Kaviraj Goswami describes here, that this Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he is the super soul of the universe. So Mahavishnu, he is the super soul of entire cosmic manifestation. Garbhodakshai Vishnu is the super soul of entire universe. And Shirodakshai Vishnu, he is a super soul in everyone's heart. And who is this Garbhodakshai Vishnu? He is the part of the plenary part of Lord Nityananda. No, last time I said portion of the plenary portion. It was about Shirodakshai Vishnu. So Garbhodakshai Vishnu is the portion of the plenary portion of Lord Nityananda Balaram. So after explaining this 10th verse, he goes on to explain the 11th verse, which is about Shirodakshai Vishnu. Who is the Shirodakshai Vishnu? He is a Amsha. He is the portion of the plenary portion of Nityananda Balaram. And who is he? He is the Paramatma in everyone's heart. So Shirodakshai Vishnu, who is a portion of the plenary part of Lord Nityananda Balaram, he appears as Paramatma in everyone's heart. And he is the maintainer of all the living entities, and he lies in the ocean of milk, Kshirosagar. Along with that, Kaviraj Goswami describes another personality called Ananta Shesha, who is the further sub-part of Lord Nityananda. And he offers his obeisances to Ananta Shesha and Shirodakshai Vishnu. Now, what are the activities of Shirodakshai Vishnu? So, in the material world, Shirodakshai Vishnu resides on Shweta Dvipa. In Shweta Dvipa, there is a Shir Sagar. There is a milk ocean where Shirodakshai Vishnu resides. And all the avatars in this world, they appear through Garbhodakshai Vishnu to establish the principles of dharma and to annihilate the miscreants. So, we have heard many times, especially in the 10th canto, it comes when the Mother Earth was being burdened by all the demoniac forces. So all the devatas along with Mother Earth, they went to the shore of the milk ocean and they started praying to Lord Shirodakshai Vishnu. In response to prayers of Shirodakshai Vishnu, Lord, he spoke to Brahma. Brahmaji could not see, but he heard. I will appear in this world in due course of time, and I will kill all the demons. And all of you devatas, you should appear in the dynasty of Vrishnis and the Yadavas. So all the avatars, they come through Garbhodakshai Vishnu. He maintains this material creation. Say Vishnu Hayyar Amsham Shera Amsha. Say Prabhu Nityananda Sarva Avatamsha. So that Shirodaksha Vishnu, he is a part of the plenary portion of Lord Nityananda, who is the source of all the incarnations. And then he describes the activities of Anantashesh. What Anantashesh does, Anantashesh, he is also an avatar of the Lord. And in this world, in this material world, he takes birth from, you know, Kadru. Kadru. So Kadru is the mother of all the snakes and all the celestial snakes also. One of them was Shesha. So Shesha, although he's the avatar of the Lord, he appeared through Kadru, and he was given the charge of holding the entire Bhumandal. So this Shesha, who is also a sub-part of Lord Nityananda, he holds the entire Bhumandal. And actually, this entire Bhumandal is such a huge structure. But he does not even know that there is something on his head. He cannot feel the pressure. In fact, it is said that the entire universe feels like the mustard seed on one of the hoods of Ananta Shesha. That is the glory of Ananta. That is the glory of Shesha. And then this Ananta, he is a devotee incarnation. He appears as a devotee. So Prabhupada quotes this section from Skanda Puran. In that there is a section called Ayodhya Mahatmya. In that it is described what happened at the end of Ramayana. When Lord Ram had performed all his pastimes and it was the time for him to go back. So Indra, followed by all the Devatas, they came, and Indra requested Ananta Shesha, who was standing in the form of Lakshman. He told that, "O Lakshman, O Ananta Shesha, please go to your abode, Vaikuntha, abode of Vishnu Loka." Vishnu Loka means the Vaikuntha, which is there in the Garbhodak Sagar, where Garbhodaksha Vishnu is residing. That is also Vaikuntha, because Lord Vishnu is there. So please you go to your abode Vishnu Loka, where your expansion Sesha is present. So what happened after all the Devatas? They dispatched Lakshman to the Patal regions. That means Ananta Shesha, the portion of Lakshman, he went to the Patal Loka and he continued his service of holding this entire Bhumandal. And Lakshmana, in his original form, he went to the original Ayodhya in the Vaikuntha Loka. So Sesha, he has two features. One feature of Shesha is he is the holder of the entire globe. He is the bearer of the globe. And the second feature of Ananta Shesha is a servant. He's a servant in the form of bedstead. He becomes the bed for Mahavishnu. And what else he is doing? As Mahavishnu is lying, Garbhodaksha Vishnu is lying on the bed of Ananta Shesha. Shesha, he is glorifying the Lord, glorifying Krishna, glorifying Vishnu. Since the beginning of the creation, he is glorifying. He has not come to an end. Nantam vidamyahamami munayo agrajaste maya balasya purushasya kuto varaye gayan gunandashushatan adi deva sheshodhunapi samavastana asya param na antam vidami. There is no end to the glories of Krishna. What to speak of anybody else? Even Ananta Shesha, since the beginning of the creation, Gayan Gunanda Shushatanana Adi Deva, with his tens and thousands of mouths, is singing the glories of the Lord since the beginning of creation. Still, he has not come to an end of it. And Bhagavatam also describes in the fourth canto, at one time, the four Kumaras, they went to the Patal region. They went to this Ananta Shesha and they heard Bhagavatam from Ananta Shesha. And they were so very ecstatic to hear this Bhagavatam from Ananta Shesha. So this Ananta Shesha, he serves Lord Krishna in every way. He is the servant, he's like the perfect servant of Krishna. He becomes the bed, pillow, slippers, garments, everything, even the sacred thread. He becomes everything for Krishna. And therefore he is called as Shesha. Shesha means whatever is remaining to be done in the service of the Lord will be done by Shesha. So he is the ultimate end of servitude towards Krishna. He is a servitor Godhead. Seita ananta yar kohi eko kala, hena Prabhu Nityananda ke jane tar khila. And this Ananta, he is the part of the plenary part. He is a Kala of Nityananda Balram. Who can understand the pastimes of Lord Nityananda Balram? That's why, when Vrindavan Das Thakur, he started describing the glories of Lord Nityananda in his book Caitanya Bhagavat. Nityananda Vardile, Nityananda Lila Varnane Hoila Avesh, Chaitanya Rashesha Lila Rahila Avashesh. सही सब लीलार सुनीते विवरण वृंदावन वासी भक्तेरा उत्कंठित मन. When he started writing the glories of Lord Nityananda, he became so absorbed, he forgot that the book has become so voluminous. And then he had to cut short the glories of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wrote few things only briefly. All the Brajvasis, they wanted to hear those pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why they requested Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, please speak, please write. Because Sarup Damodar Goswami, he had spoken everything to Raghunath Das Goswami. And Raghunath Das Goswami, when he was speaking at Radhakund, Kaviraj Goswami heard. Teho thoila Raghunath thera kanthe, taha ki chuhe shunilu, taha iha vistarilu, bhakta gana dilu ei bhete. And that's what Kaviraj Goswami is giving to everyone. And then he says, Kaviraj Goswami writes that, what is the glory in calling Nityananda Balram as Ananta? Because the glories of Lord Nityananda is unlimited. So if somebody calls Nityananda Balram as Ananta, actually it is right also and wrong. It is not wrong also and it is not right also. Actually, he says it is right. You can accept it. Because the devotees of the Lord, they have described that all the incarnations of the Lord, they are having the same potencies. So even if you call Nityananda as Ananta, it is not fault, it is not wrong. Because in the earlier times also, some people say that, oh, Krishna was directly Lord Naranarayan. Some people say, Arey, Krishna is the Lord Vamanadev. Some people say that Krishna is the incarnation of Shirodakshaya Vishnu. It is all right. Nothing is impossible for Krishna. Because when Krishna appears, all the avatars, they join him and they appear. All the various avatars of Krishna, they join Krishna when Krishna appears in this world. Once in a day of Brahma. So therefore, one should understand that in whatever form one worships the Lord, Lord appears in that form. And he describes the Lord in that way only. I want to worship the Lord in this way, so I'll describe the Lord in this way. If somebody worships Vamanadev, he will describe, oh, Krishna is Vamanadev. He is coming from Vamanadev. It is all right. Ei rupa jane sei taha kahe, sakal sambhave Krishna kichu mithya nahe. Yei rupa jane sei taha kahe. Whatever form one knows the Lord, he speaks of him in that way. It is not fault. It is not false. Prabhupada writes a very interesting purport there. He says, one time a debate started between two of the sannyasis who were preaching this Hare Krishna movement. So his own disciples, two sannyastic disciples, they were arguing. And then this argument, one of them stated that Hare Ram in this Hare Krishna mantra refers to Lord Balram. One sannyasi was saying that. And another sannyasi, he was telling, no. This Hare Krishna, Hare Ram in Hare Krishna mantra refers to Lord Ramchandra. So they were discussing, an argument was happening. So Prabhupada writes, then this matter came to me. This controversy came to me. And Prabhupada writes, I gave the decision that if someone says that Hare Ram in this Hare Krishna mantra refers to Lord Ram, and someone else says it is Lord Balram, both are correct. Because there is no difference between Balaram and Lord Ram. They are all Vishnu Tattva. If someone calls Lord Ramchandra, when he's chanting this Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Ram, oh Lord Ram, it is correct. And if somebody calls Lord Balram, that is also correct. Those who are aware of the Vishnu Tattva, they never fight over such details. These are all details. One should not be disturbed by all these details, because they are all, in the ultimate sense, similar. They are all identical. It is like the one candle lighting another candle. They are all, in the ultimate sense, identical. Either you tell, oh, Hare Ram means Ramchandra, or Hare Ram means Balram. It is the same. So therefore, there is no problem if somebody tells, oh, Krishna came from Shirodaksha Vishnu, or he came from Vamana Dev. It is all right. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya, when he appeared in this world, he manifested the pastimes of all the incarnations. He exhibited his form as Varahadev. He exhibited his form as Narsimha, to show that I am the source of all the incarnations. So therefore, Lord Nityananda has unlimited incarnations. And what is the mood of Lord Nityananda? He is the eternal servitor of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He calls himself the eternal servant of Lord Chaitanya. And just like Krishna, he serves the Lord in so many ways. Sometimes he becomes the guru, sometimes friend, sometimes his associate. Similarly, for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu is that. Sometimes he instructs Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a guru. Sometimes he becomes the friend. Sometimes he becomes servant. He tells, I will go with you and I will serve you. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going to South India, when he was going to Vrindavan, Nityananda was telling, please carry somebody. Please take me. I will become your servant. Tomar dui hasta baddha nama ganane jalapatra bahirvas vahi ba ke mane. Are, who will take care of your outer cloth? Who will carry your water pot? Because both hands you will be chanting. One hand you will be chanting, and other hand you will be counting how many rounds I have chanted. So you should take somebody. Take me. I will serve you properly. And Chaitanya said, what service? Last time you broke my danda and threw in Ganga. I will not take you. So Nityananda Prabhu, sometimes he behaves as a guru, sometimes as a friend, sometimes as a servant. And that is his eternal mood. He always considers himself the servant of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's why when Nityananda Prabhu was in Vrindavan, he didn't start preaching till the time he got that message. But now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started preaching. Then he came to Navadvip and started assisting Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Kaviraj Goswami describes that, what Balram does. Just like Balram, he always assists Krishna. When Krishna and Balram, they would go to forest, they would act like ordinary boys. Sometimes they would roar like bulls, and sometimes they would fight, and sometimes they would imitate other forest animals. Sometimes they would jump like frogs. So many things they were doing. Sometimes Krishna, he would lie down, and when Balramji, he felt when sometime Balramji, he would feel tired, and he would lie down on the lap of Krishna, and Krishna would massage the feet. And sometimes Balram would do so for Krishna. Sometimes Krishna would do so for Balram. And then Kaviraj Goswami quotes another incident which proves that Balram is actually eternally the servitor. In Brahma Vimohan Leela, when Krishna became all the cowherd men, all the cowherd boys, the calves and everything, even Balram could not identify. After whole 1 year, one day when Balramji saw that, oh, these cows, they were grazing, and when they saw their calves, who were actually they had grown up, but still they were attracted to the calves and they ran down. And the cowherd men, when they saw their boys, when they saw their sons, they felt such emotion, such parental affection. They forgot about the cows and the calves, and they were just embracing their children and kissing their heads. Lord Balram said, this is a little interesting. How is this possible? The cows getting attracted to elder calves, and these gopas, they are getting so much love, affection for their children who are so grown up. Their love is just like the love they show for Krishna. How is this possible? This is something different. Whose mystic power is this, and where has she come from? Is she some devata or a devi or some demoness? But then Balram said, no. None of the material things of the world can bewilder me. This must be the illusory energy of my master Krishna. And then he understood. Oh, then he asked Krishna, and then Krishna revealed everything. So that is the beautiful understanding which Kaviraj Goswami is telling. Who is this Nityananda Balram? He is the eternal servant of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we'll stop here. We'll continue next time. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The more we hear, the question is, how do we memorize all this? The only answer is repetition. Keep on hearing again and again. Then we'll understand. And the best way is to start speaking. That's why I'm doing it. When we speak, then you are forced to study properly, and then it stays in the head. So that is the only way, to keep on reading again and again and keep on speaking. So Srila Prabhupada writes in one of the purports in Bhagavatam, actually speaking is more important. Because when we speak, it is like reading twice. We have to prepare, we have to present it properly. And the byproduct is it goes in the head. And if it stays in the head, someday it will go to the heart also. So at present, what we are trying to do is trying to keep the information in the head, so that when it is needed, we can process it. If it is not there, what we will process? So the only way to remember all this is to keep reading again and again. And you speak to somebody. You find someone and speak. Just like many times we have very few devotees attending, but still, it is for our benefit. Apana shodite kori mukhya mukhya jan. We should do all, Prabhupada writes, all activities of Krishna consciousness should be done for one's own purification, not that, okay, I will liberate this entire world. No, I'm doing it for myself. That is the only way. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandat pranam.
Dandavat.
Prabhuji, behind Narsiya Bhagwan we see Ananta Shesh only. Behind Narsiya Bhagwan we see the snake. That is Ananta Shesh only.
Yes, he is Ananta Shesh. Wherever Lord Vishnu is there or Vishnu's avatars are there, Ananta Shesh is always there. He is the eternal servitor. He is serving all the avatars. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai.